I'm Chase.
And I'm Timothy.
And this is Customer Service. All right, good morning. Here we are. We have a fun one for you guys today. It is a real treat. We had an event in the store. Sorry, we're running this intro after the fact because it was such a busy day. But we're really happy for this one. It was pretty fun, huh, Timbo?
Yeah, we had our new friend Neil Bardon on the pod today.
Yes, sir.
We like we said, we're having an event today, or on the day that we recorded, and so it was a really busy day. We tried to interview a lot of people in person because we thought that would be fun, and it was pretty fun. But it was also the most talking I've done in a very long time, and for someone who's now done upwards of 3,000 podcasts, it was a big day.
Your voice was actually gone by the end of the day. When we were walking across, I
was worried it was going to stick. It was okay though.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was really nice talking to him because I think that we've talked about this before. Sometimes we deal with people a ton. We go back and forth. We talk. It feels like you know them, but the reality is you kind of don't know them. So it was really fun to get a chance to actually dig in a bit and learn more about them as a person, but also them as a brand and how it came to be and all the backstories. Because as much as we as retailers try to pull all that stuff out the best we can, we don't get all the little nuanced stories that you get by hanging out with designers. So it was really fun.
There was a lot more to chew on than I thought. Yeah. Just from the product we carry, which is primarily the scent and fragrance, the brand and Neil himself had a lot more about him.
Yeah, he is a serial entrepreneur, as you'll come to find. So we carry his lines of Museum Apotheker, and we carry St. Rita Parlor. But he's got a lot in the pipeline that he's still working on. He's got a lot of things he's still doing. I think it's best to let him talk about all of that because we get into everything there. But it was really fun to just learn about the billion things this guy's got going on. I mean, I love being around creative, passionate people and talking to him, so this was a pleasure for me. Yep,
it was a real treat. Why don't we just go ahead and hop right into this one?
Roll it in. Thanks for being here. We'll just start. We'll start there, and then if we need it, you can use it, Cole. If not, we're good to go. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. So we're just talking about this. I don't know where to begin with you because you're hitting on two levels, which is normally how we break into this, which is Midwest technically based, at least for right now, and music.
Right.
So these are the two ways we relate to people right away. So and you hit on both right out the gate.
Yeah.
So I feel like unfortunately we burn a couple bridges right off the bat. But
yeah, exactly.
So tell us how you got to be where you're at now. As far as you're in St. Louis. Geographically.
Yeah. So we ended up back in St. Louis during the pandemic. My wife and I and my daughter ended up back in St. Louis after a West Coast stint. We were in LA for a long time, and then spent a couple years in Seattle for my wife got her doctorate out there. And during the pandemic, as the pandemic hit and my daughter was born, our first grandchild on either side of our family, it was kind of all right, well, I guess we buy a house and kind of hunker down during the pandemic. What do we do here? And all signs kind of pointed to let's just take a step back and go back to where we're originally from, which is in the Midwest, specifically St. Louis.
Yeah. Both you and your wife are both from there?
Yeah, we're high school sweethearts.
Wow. Oh, nice.
That's so sad.
Yeah, so when I tell people, I'm like, we've been together for 24 years. They're like, how old are you? I'm like, 50 looks good, right?
I got married when I was 21, so I do the same thing. I'm like, we've been married about 75 years.
Exactly. Yeah. And by the way, I'm not 50. I'm still in my 30s.
Yeah.
So
make sure
which is probably the new 50 anyways.
You didn't want anyone doing any math.
Yeah. No offense to anybody that's 50 as well. Yeah. So we ended up back in St. Louis, which I vowed I would never move back. And it's actually been really nice, but we ended up back there just spending time with our support system for our daughter and stuff. We're like, we'll stay for a couple months. It'd be a long extended Christmas vacation, and end up being wow, there's a building here that's like half. It's not even. It's half the down payment of a house on the West Coast, and so I picked that up as my pandemic project, and then my cousin ended up showing me this sick house, and I was like, oh man, that's gonna be the nail in the coffin. I'm gonna end up staying here longer, and end up buying this really cool just awesome mid-century modern house. And so we've been digging it a couple years, but that I think that time's kind of coming to an end for us.
Yeah. That's the grave mistake of being from the Midwest and going home and then being like, wonder how much that house costs. And then you look at it and you're like, what the hell? Yeah. Why are you all not millionaires? Because they're giving away these things.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And anywhere else you go, like here or LA or anything, it's like, or Seattle, any of these places, it's just astronomical at this point. So yeah, you can't make that. If you don't want to go back, you can't make the mistake of looking.
Right.
Yeah.
And like Boulder's crazy, right? Like Colorado in general. Is it like the same as is it
twisted.
Is it like the same, like the reciprocated or congruent to like Denver, or is it like worse? What's the deal?
Oh, Boulder specifically is like its own island in that regard.
But Denver's also really expensive as well.
Nice.
Just Boulder is
Boulder's like an anomaly for around here in that it's much more expensive.
Nice. It kind of reminds me of like, you've been to Bozeman?
I've never been. No.
I'm assuming you guys have
these houses over here, dude. Like, fuck, dude.
That's
I
a
fuck
good
with
take.
this, dude. I'm over here. I was talking with Tom earlier, and I was like, "Yo, dude." Like, we parked, and I was like, "I like this." Like, it seems like for today. You know, like this is nice. I can imagine myself here, and then I'm like, but then you move in, and the neighbor's an asshole, or something. Anyways, so
real life kicks in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the grass is always greener.
I mean, it's a cool area, especially if you even just walk like that way a little bit. Like the houses are older, and it's really cool.
I can see these houses right here, and like, man, they have so much like charm and character and stuff. Like,
and it's nice that like because it's been like they want to keep Boulder smaller. You know what I mean? In a dream world, while they're doing it, it just makes everything get way more expensive. But
right.
It's really blended in, like the city sort of blended together in a nice way where it feels like there's no like specific downtown, and it's all blended really nicely. So it feels very charming in that way.
Yeah, it's cool. Very seamless driving into it for sure. It's like we're driving through, and Tom was asking me on the way, and he was like, "Is this kind of like how Missouri is?" I'm like, no, actually, Missouri's just like, it's like green, and like, you ever seen the show Ozark? It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's just trees and green everywhere.
Yeah. So. I mean, and we're Indiana and Ohio respectively. So we definitely
sick.
I
Midwest
know
boys over here.
That's right, baby. Yeah.
Maybe we can start a dad hardcore band,
dude.
We could get you on a bass, I think, no problem.
Yeah, I figure it out.
I can kind of play whatever, so I can jump in wherever you want to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So you grew up in the hardcore scene there?
Yeah.
Very cool.
I played in a lot of hardcore bands in St. Louis.
What was the scene like in St. Louis? Because I knew the Midwest scenes pretty well, but that would have been like kind of too far west for us.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. I mean, we had when we do our circuits or stints on these little tours, we'd always hit Indiana, Chicago, and I'm sure that's what you guys were doing as well. It was really good, but I also think it's kind of like our time. The time that we were doing it, I think, was really good. And to be fair, I guarantee a lot of people would say that about their time.
Sure.
But a lot of really good bands came from St. Louis. Not even just hardcore, but like we had a really good hardcore scene. A lot of people really into it. Whereas I think if they were doing that now, I don't think it would be the same. Like all the kids in high school.
It's a different thing now.
Yeah,
the
completely
scenes are different. Yeah. And it's like we've talked about it a lot. Like we like that there's this like new scene that's very different that like doesn't feel like hardcore necessarily to me. Like these bands like Turnstile and stuff. Doesn't necessarily feel like hardcore exactly to me, but the way they're into it and everything is exactly the same.
The sentiment is the same,
Yeah, there we go. There's our girl.
Yeah.
As we said, no matter what we do,
DHL, they're on a different level. Yeah.
I don't know. You deal with much DHL?
They're great. If you want to ensure a package is going to get somewhere, like, because that lady is probably going to fly the plane and hand it to whoever in Peru.
They just pull up in like a Chrysler van with a bunch of loose packages in it at this point.
UPS, who knows? Like, I don't know what they're doing these days. UPS, I'm about to go to FedEx again, which I swore them off. So
that's a tough one. This is a very specific place to be in the conversation.
Hopefully I don't get canceled for saying that or whatever. But
big FedEx comes after you. So do you get into this world through music? Is that where you like kind of get started?
Exactly. So like I played in bands for a long time, and it's like, well, what can I do that doesn't have like as much ego as a band? Or like, if one person's like, oh, I want to like get a real job when you're a teenager and doing these bands, which most bands that made it big actually as an actual band started out as a band, and nowadays they're all like put together, hired guns and stuff like that. But they're doing less studio work. So it was like essentially like, I forgot where we were in the question again. I'm just going off.
No, you're good. So you were getting involved in that scene because
like how I got into like specifically in like fashion and stuff. Yeah. So it's like, you have to rely on other people in a band. You know what I mean? And what can I do that kind of like has like, you know, a congruent lifestyle?
Yeah.
And like you can do things that are creative and like tour the world and like do all the things that you could do in a band.
Yeah.
But also, you know, have this sort of like you can kind of hide behind closed doors, which is what I really liked. I wanted to be more like private. I wasn't like a really big like, oh, look at me, look at this. I'm a big flashy person. Oh, I like nice things and stuff. I'm more just like I like to keep to myself. And stuff. So it's kind of like how I answered this. I was like, well, you know, I can just take with all these different skill sets that I have, like starting out in like darkroom photography. My high school I went to was like one of only 4 schools in the state of Missouri to have a graphic design program, which was huge.
In high school, that seems crazy.
And for a public school as well, which is kind of insane. So, you know, Parlor for public school, here we go. So I was able to take those different like tools and assets that I had and just like, you know what, I can just start a brand myself and I don't really need anything else. And so St. Rita was born kind of, you know, from that.
Yeah, I say all the time, like, you know, I went to college for fashion, like in a rarity. I went to school for what I'm doing now. But like, honestly, my whole like schooling for this, like everything I do now was much more from just being in like the DIY scene.
Totally.
Because you just do it, you do everything yourself. You have to, you know, you make the tees, you have to make a website, you have to do all the things that basically that's exactly what we're doing.
Tour posters, etc.
Same promotion. It's all about like building weird communities and stuff. And it's the same stuff. There's literally no difference.
It's cut, copy, paste, right? Did you go to school in Chicago?
No, I went to school in Indiana.
Oh, nice. Right on.
Yep. In state. So
nice.
Slightly more affordable.
Exactly. Yeah.
So is St. Rita the first thing that you start in the line? Because you got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Is that the first one?
St. Rita was the first one I started, and that was 2012.
Yeah.
So I left Chicago in 2009, moved to LA, and then while I was there, I was just doing kind of like consulting, creative direction gigs just for whoever would listen to me. It's just like, you know, just going around meeting people, the grind, as they would say. Just kind of did a lot of different stuff from, you know, music videos to album art to whatever. Whoever will listen to me. I just did that, and then I was like, you know, I think it's time to just kind of set off on my own, and
cool.
There's Rita, hence Rita was born.
So like when you're thinking about like starting that, because you're saying like, I mean, I totally get what you're like the fashion world or this kind of space of business it does feel so similar to like music and how that works, just like you're saying. But like, why like scent first? Like, why did that feel like it was the most natural for you?
Well, with Rita, I started with eyewear first in fashion.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that. That's crazy. Yeah.
So it was so Rita was always just like a concept brand that named after my grandmother. And I have a pretty crazy story about how like the name came about and stuff too, which we can, if you're interested in hearing that, I can go into that a bit too. But so I started with eyewear because it's very personal. Like it becomes like if I take off my glasses right now, I look different. It's a very personal attribute of your, of your face. Like I take like my daughter hardly sees me without glasses on, and she's like, "Daddy, I like your glasses on because it looks like you."
Exactly.
So like to that sentiment.
When you showed up, the first thing I was like, "Damn, those glasses look good on him." Like it is a very like defining thing. It's one of the first things you notice about a person. So
I appreciate that. And I have a funny note here because I called my wife right after I exited the airport. So whilst in the elevator, I had like my headphones on and the song had just ended, and there's like 2 like ladies probably in their late 40s, early 50s in the elevator, and she's like, "Tom from Blacklist." And I was like, why the fuck did she just say that? Like what's the context here? And then she goes, "Tom from Blacklist." And I was like, and she didn't realize I had with the song stopped. I go, "I'm Tom from Blacklist? Me?" Yeah. I was like, "Oh man, I can't wait to call my wife after this, dude. Yeah. Just tell her that
the David Spader show."
It was like really, I was like, well, maybe the headphones made my head look a little, nicer or whatever. So she's like, "Yeah, you kind of look like maybe." I was like, "I don't look like him at all, but to
listen,
that point, the glasses, like it did something for me there." So
it looks good.
Yeah. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, so tell us about the name a little bit, because I think that like I really do think the some of the scents that are inside of that collection are some of the best that I've smelled. I really like them, and I think that it does feel everything from that collection feels so personal. And I assumed there was probably a pretty deep backstory, so I'm super interested in knowing a little more about
totally.
that.
So and thanks for that, by the way. So all of it is deeply personal. So Rita was my grandmother, and the reason why I started the brand was kind of birthed out of, I had a near-death experience when I was on tour with one of my bands. Wow. I came home, I always let her have my room while I was, away. I'm like, you can take my room, but I happened to be in town that weekend. So I was like, you can still have my room. I'll get some linens from the basement at my parents' house. I was playing like a BMI show in Nashville that weekend or whatever. And I ended up, I came home late because I was like partying, whatever, with like some old friends, like as one does. And I opened the basement door to go grab linens, and I just woke up in the hospital like a week later. I ended up falling down a flight of stairs. I was in a coma. Technically, I didn't have a heartbeat, wasn't breathing, and my grandmother and my mother were there, like, over me, and like the ambulance came and all that, and it was like a whole thing. And like I woke up and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this is what happened. I'm giving you guys like the short version of the story, but so like that, like the day that I got out of the hospital and I came home, I called my tattoo artist, and I'm very close with my grandmother. She passed away in 2010, but I was extremely close with her. And even before she passed away, I told her, I was like, hey, I'm gonna name, like, my moniker is gonna be after you. And it's kind of like gonna be my graphic design moniker.
Okay, yeah.
Because my background at that time was like I was doing a lot of design and creative direction stuff. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna be like Saint Rita as like my and she's like, that's awesome. Like, thank you. And so the day I got out of the hospital, I actually got her handprint tattooed on my arm here as like my guiding hand, so on and so forth. So to say that she was close to me is an understatement. But she had a lot of like things in her life that, directly like, resonated with me and like kind of shaped who I am as a person. She had a lot of grandkids, but me and her had a very special connection. So it was very easy and very natural for me to like, well, Saint Rita makes sense. Like, it's the saint of the impossible. She was known for like growing rose gardens and so on and so forth. And my grandmother was like an avid rose grower. Awesome. And was into her gardens and like smoked, drank whiskey. Yeah. I smoked, drank whiskey. Like, we were like, it was sick, right? So so it's like just like very easy, like duh. And like saint of the impossible was like, well, why would anybody start a brand right now just after like the market crash and recession, all this? Yeah. This guy, you know what I mean? So like there was just too many signs pointing to like, this is what you need to do. Yep. And so to the fragrance specific question, so signature fragrance is whiskey, tobacco, rose. So she used to like tend her garden, and it's a bit romanticizing it a little bit, but she used to tend to her rose garden, smoking a hand-rolled cigarette, drinking a whiskey and water. Yeah. This is what it smelled like. So as most like, perfume brands or companies or whatever. Well, most of them don't actually perfume it themselves. I do, but it's like, it's directly correlates to that story, that notion that it's like literally like that point in time, a specific instance that I like, before I even create it, I know what it's going to smell like. Yeah. So I like kind of like reverse engineer it. Yeah. So that one birthed the signature fragrance. I released that. LA Weekly or LA Times, one of them did something on it, and it sold out. And I was like, shit, like maybe I should like start doing like fucking perfumes and stuff. Yeah. And
did you kind of know where you wanted it to go, or was
it like a lifestyle brand? Like, like Rita was like always about my grandmother and telling her story, and through personal connection, and I'm kind of just like let like life kind of take me where it wants to take me. Yeah. Because whether or not you have control of it, it's going to take control of you. So it kind of like was birthed out of that, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting approach to like, I think so many people like push back against like that kind of surrender to like, or if you're a little more hard-lined on what you want it to be initially, it can be really difficult to allow it to grow organically. That's right. So I think that's an interesting approach. Like whether you knew that was it off the bat or not, that's still, I think it's really incredible. I think it allows for the thing to become what it needs to become, as opposed to the opposite way around. Because I always know like what I want like the business to feel like, but I don't necessarily know what.
Like the evolution, you just never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so but I do think when it feels good and when it doesn't. You know what I mean?
And it's like really easy to be honest. Like it was just like, well, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to tell this story, which is like a factual narrative, right? So it's like based on her life, and I wanted people to know who she is. So like when like Bill Clinton buys some frames, or Ted Danson comes up to me and he's like, "Hey Neil, it's Ted." Yeah, And I'm sitting there thinking, like, how the fuck does this happen? Yeah. Like, when people, and I'm like, when it's just like, my grandmother is the focal point, and just like knowing, like, I'm just like, it's just really rad because like people know who she is. It's not about the accolades or anything like that. It's just like about like how these people, like my grandma has no idea, you know what I mean? Like this ever happened or whatever. But like it's just amazing that people like being able to tell this story resonated with so many people. There's so many people that share that sentiment. And I think it's a testament to like why it's done so well. Cause I think it's just like, just honest.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just like, this is a story. Everyone has their own story. They're able to connect. Maybe you're like close with like your aunt, your grandma or cousin or a friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to be able to share their story or whatever. And it kind of just like creates that human connection that like, I feel doesn't truly, like a lot of time doesn't really exist anymore. It's just like sell, like what looks cool, this and that, which is why on the other side of things, it's like my marketing like doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, nope, word of mouth only, which may be dumb, but like I've gotten this far and, you know, I'm able to, you know, like I said, I'm just rolling with it.
I don't think specificity is ever a problem when it comes to branding or anything like that. I think it's like the more focused and crazy you can be, then you'll just find the right audience. And plus, like, that feels so specific. Like you saying, like, I want to make the smell of my grandmother's car, you know, a smell. And you're like, but like, dude, I know exactly the way like my grandma's bathroom smelled because she was like really into like making it pretty and it had like kind of patchouli smell and potpourri and patchouli was kind of the smell. Yeah. And like my uncle's house always smelled like lake water and gas because he had like jet skis and boats and
I got that uncle too.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like you do
Maybe we should do uncle's house. We got uncle's house coming out next, I think. Yeah.
I think that like the funny thing is though, like everyone, that's not a unique experience to everyone. Everyone's got whatever version of that.
Exactly.
So the story hits no matter what, even though yours is so specific.
Exactly.
It hits for everybody. And I think that's what's really cool.
It's that connection that like kind of ties, you know, all of us together and, you know, from different,
Yeah. When did like fragrance is so interesting to me because I feel like I got into it when I was pretty young and it was mostly just because my grandpa had like polo green. I think it was polo green or polo blue. I can't remember. And
probably polo green. That shit was slap, dude. With the gold, like because that's like what's on there. Yeah. Like that's kind of what I was like. Ooh, remember?
Well, and you're gonna
green?
like where I'm heading, brother, because that's what I thought. But the second thing was too. He always had it was like that and Marlboro Lights, and like that is a really great scent.
Yeah, not even
mixture.
reds either. Wow.
Yeah. Lights back in the day too, which is a little, you know, I think it's because he was trying to probably quit, then he never did it. But you know, but you know, I like the
intention was there.
Plus, it like looked a little classier in a way, a little fancier. Yeah. Kate Moss smoked them, you know.
Yeah, exactly. The red was a little, it's not really on brand, you know. So.
Yeah, my dad was in the Winston's man, so you can understand. I had that version of things too, but so I think that like it's like that was such a like personal smell. Like it's the first time I was like, oh, I want to wear cologne. I remember thinking that when I was like really young. Yeah. Did you have like that moment ever of like this is when this thing starts to hit? Like
when I was young or when as like
when you were
Rita?
Young, before you knew what you were gonna do.
Totally. I remember like the first time I went to like, oh my god, do Kmart still exist?
You know what? I don't think Kmart exists, but there was a Super K in my hometown, and I'm very familiar.
You're in St. Louis. If they're anywhere, brother, they got to be around there.
Yeah. There was like Venture and Kmart, but anyways, we like my mom and I went to one of these, and I think I probably saw like deodorant on my dad's sink or something like that, and I was like, "What's that? I always smell whatever." So that's kind of how it started. Was like, she's like, "Neil, you're like 7.
Yeah, you don't
need deodorant."
Yeah,
and I'm like. But like,
makes you want
I want it. Yeah, exactly. So you tell me no, it's like, well, we'll see. Yeah. So I ended up leaving with Speed Stick that day to show her. Yeah. You know what I mean? So she had, and I was like, oh, and so that's like obviously like just rubbish, but whatever. It's all good. You got that wintergreen, like whatever. Those chemicals, that aluminum sulfate.
I like the look of a Speed Stick as an object.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like Speed Stick actually, like, it's actually kind of.
It probably smells good.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah,
exactly. So. Maybe I'll do like because I actually was going to start making a deodorant as well. So maybe I'll do like a nod to that.
A nod to like a classic Speed Stick?
Yeah.
And you could make it blue, you know, too, but without all the bad stuff.
Yeah, like do it like with like spirulina or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. Yeah. So because I feel like and like what about like because I feel like when I got to high school, suddenly
Aquadagio, dude.
There we go.
Aquadagio was that like my dad had that and it was like or Adidas like Adidas Sport because it was like a difference for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. There is a difference because I make all this stuff and I do, but like in that world, I'm like, really, it's all really the same shit.
Yeah.
It's like you hire a chemical engineer, one of these big companies, they make it, and then you regurgitate that out to the world and all the big stores, and that's that, which is, what sets what I do apart from everything else, truly.
Yeah.
So, and then as an adult, it was a brand called DS and Durga. I had no idea about like custom fragrances until I saw DS and Durga at a friend of mine, old friends of mine. We haven't talked in a long time, but I wish they're, I hope they're doing well. They had I think they probably still have a really great store in LA called Hammer and Spear. They carried DS and Durga, and I was like, what is this stuff? I just loved it. And I'd save up enough money to buy some, and I was like, wow, they actually hand make their own fragrances. And then fast forward a couple years, I launched Rita, and I always do these accoutrements, and I was like, you know what, I want to like create my own fragrance.
Yeah.
And so I started read some books, and it's just kind of like anything in life. It's like, if you want to get into doing it, you can do it. It's like I got into eyewear because somebody was like, hey, Raekwon wants to do an eyewear line. Do you know how to design eyewear? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
You figure it out.
I have no idea how to design eyewear, but guess what? I'm going to be in 5 years like the number one eyewear designer. People are going to be knocking on my door.
I have lied constantly
about
things I could do, and I just figured, well, there's YouTube, so I'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, we didn't even have that. We had did you go to design school? We had like fucking magazines. Like, I'm still paying off debt from magazines.
Books.
You're just like carrying around my back.
Yeah.
I don't have to see see a fucking chiropractor now for all the design books, and all kids do just like sit on the, just like you can like literally learn anything you want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I think that the reality is like no one really has an excuse anymore. If you want to learn something, it's all there. You know what I mean?
Totally. And I think their excuse now is that they spend all their time just like, which the only thing they should be watching is this.
Yeah,
that's right.
This podcast,
customer service podcast, brought to you by Canoe Club.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Timbo,
registered trademark.
Yeah, brought to you by.
As if it's not us too. You say all the time when you first moved out here, before Abby had moved out proper, you were taking the product photography, and you were like, I'll figure it out.
I was just in a room with two other people as we were starting the business, and they were like, well, I don't know, we're gonna have to hire someone else to do photography. I was like, I can do it. And I was like, I had a camera. I had like a Canon K2 or whatever that was called.
At least it wasn't a point and shoot. You know what I mean? At least you're a step up from that. At least I had
doing it.
We figured it out. And then, and the main concern was like Photoshop. I'm like, I don't really know that. But I was like, I used to kind of use it to do like band album covers and shit. I was like, I'll figure this out. And then you just do it.
Yeah, start with contrast and lightness, and then there you go.
Yeah. You just move things around enough.
Until it looks the way you want it to.
Yeah.
Dude, the clone tool is the best, dude. Yeah.
Easy. I remember showing a guy an album cover once that I worked on for a band, and he was like, yeah, man, it looks really good. He's like, how long did it take you? And I was like, bro, I don't know, like 12 hours. And he goes, 12 hours? And I thought I was like, oh, I came in under budget on hours. And he was like, oh, man, I should have only taken like 1 or 2. I was like, okay, well, I took the time it took.
It's
and
nice.
I learned something.
It's nice to just learn things along the way. My first sign job, a buddy was opening a barbershop, and I went to school for design and stuff.
Design.
A sign painter.
You'd be good at sign twirling.
I would be good at sign twirling.
He's very good at hand-eye coordination.
If you need me to do something with my hands. But my buddy opened a barbershop, and he goes, hey, because he knew that I was into typeface design, fonts, lettering, stuff like that.
Nice.
He goes, would you ever paint signage? I was like, oh man, I'd love to, but I don't know what I'm doing. And he goes, well, how about you paint my sign? So then I went and was like, all right, well, I don't know what I'm doing. So I bought the supplies and fucking looked at old signs and then figured it out.
Did it.
It's just everybody, like you said, if somebody else can do it, so can you. You just need to like take the time and figure it out and think about it for a little bit, and you'll learn along the way.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
I think that like the one nice thing is everyone that I've met in this industry that seems to be doing fairly well, it doesn't matter what they're doing. They all do it the same way. They care about stuff in the same exact weird, passionate, obsessive way.
Yeah.
And so it's like if you have that type of person, like I'm sure Chase and I always feel like if there's something that happens around here, we're like, we can figure it out. We're like, just call a guy, right? And you're like, no. We'll figure it out.
We got this.
Leave us alone for like a few hours.
Yes.
And it's just better that way. Because then I think you learn things along. I mean, you learn it along the way, and that's how you get good at something.
And you also start at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like you surrender to like the whole thing. Like, hey, I'm not above this. Like,
Yeah.
You take out the trash, you do the photography, you answer the emails, you answer the phone calls, all that stuff. And so you know how to run a well-oiled machine.
Totally.
Because you design it.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude.
So,
You've mentioned a couple times that like most places that do scent are not doing it themselves. I mean, they say they're kind of farming it out.
well, there's a lot of, I can't speak to like specific ones, you know what I mean? Like, but like, for example, when I talk with some places, they're like, "Oh, you make it?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean? Of course I make it."
Yeah.
Like, and then the first couple of times I was like, "That's weird," but then it's like become like a pattern where people are just like over and over again. They're like, "Well, that's crazy." Like, well, who bottles it? Yeah, I'm like, I make it all by hand. Well, like, where do you? Where's it at? And I'm like, well, it's from wherever I live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
why are you not understanding that it's me?
Listen.
Yeah, like I don't even have a separate building. It's like in my I have like, well, technically it's a separate structure at my house. I have like a detached garage that I build this like sweet lab. Please come visit.
Yeah,
maybe,
dude.
Maybe I'll really like this
I'd love to see a
podcast stuff,
lab.
and you guys will be my first guest or something.
There we go.
Sick.
But yeah. Yeah, so like people just ask all the time. They're like flabbergasted at like, oh, you actually do it, and then it just happens so much. And I also know people that are like in the world of like flavoring, where it's like there's a lot of money in like molecular design and compounds and stuff like that. Where I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, well, let me know if you like talk with anybody at L'Oreal or Estee Lauder, and they were like trying to drop like, I think my number's like 20 million right now or something like that. So if you guys are listening or watching,
It's going up.
It's going up. And by the end of this podcast, it's going to be 21.
Yeah.
So hurry up.
it started lower than that. So let's go. But
we got you that extra million, so let's split it.
yeah, exactly. And there's a finder's fee as well. But yeah, let's take that. I love the fact that you're in that you did like typography. That's like my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
like
dude.
I'm obsessed with that.
Let me
shit.
ask you something.
Yeah,
Did you ever write graffiti?
I was never good enough at it.
No.
Like my signature, like is right here is the only. If you ever want to like steal my signature and like use it, I thought that was a good idea when I was in Paris. But no, I never did graffiti.
Because we joke, there's a big pipeline. It's hardcore kid, goes to shows. You either become tattooer, barber, you work for UPS, but in the mix too, there's graffiti writers, graphic designers. It's it's a very specific.
You guys
thing,
have plugs? You guys have ear? No,
I never did. No.
Yeah, I had small ones, and this one I had to have like surgically dealt with, so it's a little weird now.
Yeah.
Like I can feel it inside of it. It's a little wacky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you I clocked you as soon as you came in because you got that goddamn
here.
little hole I got going.
I think it was the
still.
lady's first time ever doing it. She had pierced it twice with a crazy gauge. It was insane. Like I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah. Oh, did the same thing happen to me? Where you go to
I was like, it's gonna be fun. No.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like when they brought the needle out, I'm like, there's like a hole in the needle. I'm like, that feels too big.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, this is the normal one. And they put it in. I swear to God, as soon as they put it in, I was like, this was too much.
Yeah, I was like walking around in like Logan Square, and this is the time in Chicago that like you didn't really do that then. It was like 2006. Like and I was
Were
like,
you over by JJ Peppers?
And I was just like walking around. I don't know.
JJ Peppers was over in that area you're talking about. That was the number one place that like kids that looked like us got robbed.
Yeah,
Because they'd see you coming, you know what I mean? They'd see a guy with gauges and they're like, this is easy money.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. But yeah, I walked into this place. It was just like, they're like piercing at this table, and I was like, oh, okay. And the like lady barely. It was a bad idea, but anyways,
yeah.
But going back to the old typography and stuff like that, and like I love that. That's like what I do with all this stuff. It's like that's like the hardest thing for me to like actually design something that's like contained and clean, because like my style of graphic design is very like obscure, like a David Carson or a Chris Ashworth is one of my favorites. What's up, Chris? How you doing, man?
I looked like he was there.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, Chris is here.
I'm like, he was in the back, dude. He flew from the UK. But he seems like a really rad guy. He probably watches this stuff, Like, but like, he's like one of my favorites. He was I'm gonna give him a little love for a minute, but he was the art director of Raygun magazine from like back in the day, like back before graphic design was fucking cool.
Yeah.
And like he's like a fucking idol. And now we're like, I wouldn't say we're like buddies or anything, but we've conversed a couple times. He sent me some prints. He like has my products all in his house.
Oh, cool.
And I have a bunch of his artwork and things. And yeah, dude, Chris Ashworth. But yeah, like my style of graphic design is very chaotic, very like you have to like look into it. Like mixed media, but like all digital mixed media and stuff like that. So to do this stuff is like a challenge, because like I have to like really, really go in deep on why I choose an icon, because all my brands have these little icons, and it's like I select them specifically because
Yeah.
like I want to be able to like articulate or elaborate on why and what and stuff like that. So
well, I think stuff like that, especially when like the product is simple in the sense of like the product is a bottle, a box maybe, and the design. So that stuff like all really matters when telling that story. Because if it's nothing else, then it's, it's extensively garbage. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because there's a million
because
brands.
made by somebody else and like you don't know what the deal is.
Exactly what
They
I'm
hire
trying
a
to get
graphic
at,
designer, they hire, it's like it's all shopped
What
down.
part
I'm
did
not
you
like
touch?
trashing anything else. It's like you need places like that to exist for me to be relevant.
Yeah.
And for, Canoe Club and
well, and there's
Cole even, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
It's just kind of like whenever you like touch something like that, the difficulty can be that like there's a million brands like this, and what makes one special than another? Obviously, you give me any brand, and you're gonna be like, I can find something that smells okay. You know what I mean? But finding brands that like really care about what they're doing it all 100%. You involved in the graphic design, and because that's what I was kind of getting at is that I do understand why that sucks. Is like, and I don't know who's the right people to name here or anything like that. So, but if you take like a big perfumer or whatever, it's gonna feel like, what did they really have to do with this? You know what I mean? Like, other than giving some suggestions.
It's like Luxottica, but in the perfume world, basically.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
like, how to send them, and this is like, I know this for a fact because they did a whole, like, one of my aunts was like, you should watch 60 Minutes. I'm like, okay, why would I do that? Like, Luxottica did, and I learned from that 60 Minutes because it was on eyewear. I actually sat down and watched it. Didn't really tell anybody, but I did. And that's where I'm getting this information. But they basically are like, they get sent they take their creative brief from whatever company and they send it to them, and then they make it, and that's it. Then they pretty much just like dump it into all these optic shops on wheels. So it's all in consignment stuff, and that's how that's how other designers are birthed because they're sick of it. Yeah,
it just doesn't. I mean, I think that you can tell when you start, like when you get a nose for this kind of thing. Eventually, it starts to feel like you can kind of tell when someone gives a shit or doesn't, or when something's just like an experiment, or when something's super personal to people. And I think that does matter.
Right.
The personal touch is what makes things different. Because like you're saying, like you could tell right away from smelling anything from St. Rita that it was like it's deeply personal. I could just tell that right away because it felt like nostalgia. And I think that you can't get that if you're just like, put these things in it because I kind of like that stuff, and then walk away from it. It's just not. It's not the same.
Totally. And each one of these brands have different things. Because I really did like, love like 85 Diesel by DS and Durga. I was like, that's really cool. Like that's awesome. You know what I mean? And like they have like they're able to like kind of convey these stories, and I really like that. And that's why I kind of gave my nod to them. Was like, wow, that's really cool. I didn't know this market even existed. But
So talk about the other collections, because you got a lot going on.
Yeah, you surprised us with some stuff this morning, and I'm very excited.
It was like in my jacket. So at this point I have designed for other people too. So I have like a private label gig as well that I do. Like I'm doing one for The Hunt in New York City. What's up, Steven? Good luck on your last day at The Hunt. Rest in peace. What an amazing store. Thanks to Dylan and Steven. Are you familiar with The Hunt at all?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I do private label a lot as well. So, Azalea Banks I have some NDAs I can't really speak about. I did private label for Azalea Banks. I've done Soho House. I've, to name a few, and like some rock stars, hotels, stuff like that.
And this would be like personal sense they're doing that they.
So they'll find me because I don't advertise this stuff. I do the opposite. I'm like, no marketing, no advertising. Like people are going to learn a lot from this podcast because like, I don't, there's a couple articles out there. I'm like very much like, I don't fuck with PR. I don't fuck with the press. Like if, Vogue reaches out or whoever, sure. What do you want? You know what I mean? I'm not like, I need this or that. It doesn't do it for me.
Let them ring the door. It's funny that you said it because one of the guys the other day texted me and said, hey, where's Museum from? And I was like, I thought LA, but then I was like, let me look real quick. I was like, maybe I'm not sure. And I looked and I was like, fuck, I can't find it at all.
Technically it's a Chicago brand because my partner in Museum, what's up, Logan? He lives in Chicago. I lived in Chicago a long time, and it felt like a very Chicago brand. Technically, I made it at my house in St. Louis in my lab. That's where it's from. And actually, it was birthed because I was going to create another brand. Logan was a customer of mine that kept asking me, "Are you going to do for Rita? Are you going to do subscriptions?" And I was like, "No, No, I'm not, and I'm still not. So, actually, if you've been to my website, like half the shit's broken. It's like it's nostalgia and that as well. You know what I mean? It's like the sentiments there. So, I developed this idea called Planté, where it's gonna be like a fragrance designed for Tim or Cole or Chase or whoever. Like you can come to the website and kind of like you type in this stuff, and it kind of like this like kind of like half tech, half perfume, like data driven, and we still may do it, but that was like kind of my idea. I started developing this, and Logan and I were going to do it. And on the side, I started like just like designing this idea called Museum Apotheker one day. I was like kind of bored because I just like build brands, and I was bored this one day, and I was like, "What do you think of this?" And he's like, "Yo, fuck Planté. We're doing a museum." And I was like, "Well, here we go," because Planté was like for the masses. So there goes all my there goes like my like
that's gonna fund it.
But. Yeah, that's gonna fund everything. But okay, let's just do cool shit. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how museum was born, and it's basically like that's my life now. Museum is like my life today, present day. Neil and other people in my wheelhouse. It's like that's what we like. It's three different fragrances for three different types of the day: architecture, cars, and nature. Those are the three main components of that. It's very apparent on our website and stuff like that.
Well, how'd you land on those three things?
I'm just like those are the things I love.
So
like,
it's fully this is
very objective. I'm like I love cars.
Yeah.
What's up, Porsche?
Yeah. They sponsor, actually.
Architecture and nature. You know what I mean? Those are the things that I really love. So I spend a lot of time. I drive a lot because I like to drive. I go out in nature as much as I can because I love it. And I love architecture. So I just love it, like the hard lines, the typography, the minimalism. There's just so many different components of it that speak to me. So I'm like, how can I take those components and put them in a bottle? We're about to find out. So that's what Museum was born, and like we've kind of segued in a different sort of thing. So that's like my European dark fashion. It's more like my personal style. Whereas Rita's like this sentiment, nostalgia, like kind of ties into anyone can like it. You know what I mean? It could sell it at any store, but like I'm selective. And so Museum is like definitely got that European high fashion dark kind of like vibe to it. We saw like, we're at Canoe Club, but we're at some of the top stores in the world, including Canoe Club, Notre, Darklands, and Berlin. We're very selective. And then I launched a barbershop salon spa in St. Louis because I didn't have enough going on, and I did a 36 SKU line there. What's
That's
up, Tony?
Its own thing.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing that I started as well. And Centennial is birthed because the building was 100 years old. It used to be a barber shop, and on its centennial, I wanted to give it new life and focus on three movements: industrial, the Industrial Revolution, mid-century modern movement, and like how we use technology. So it's like kind of like old meets new, right? And like this kind of old dilapidated building that I fixed up, and you walk in there, it's just like this juxtaposition is super wild. So we'll have to have you guys down there as well.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So come get a haircut or a shave or whatever. Come just. So I have a whole line there, and then I'm launching Preservation West next month. What's up, Justin and Jimmy? That's based in Nashville. Because it's for the well-heeled cowboy, and it's just think like rich cowboy. That's our thing, man, and it's all very much that.
You're gonna sell well in Boulder, my friend.
And the whole narrative is based on like it's really awesome. It's not a factual narrative. Well, it's factual because we made it but it's based on like we call like these tall tales. And we have this cowgirl named Hilly. The hillbilly, like spits, swears, steals, like burns stuff down. She's like a rebel, but also has a softer side to her. So we're going to be telling this narrative of Hilly's life through these fragrances to start, and then we're going to end up getting into like art, and we have like bolo ties and like all these accessories for that kind of stuff as well. But super stoked there, and that launches in just a couple of weeks. So Preservation West is going to be happening too. But they're all different and all kind of like in their own wheelhouse. So because some people ask me, aren't you cannibalizing your businesses? I'm like, no. It's like I love doing it so much that it's just like there's a million different ways you can go about it. It's just like kind of like you think about music. I start a different band. It's like a different type of thing, and it's like also it's like I get bored and my mind never shuts off. So
Is it almost like helpful to sort of like compartmentalize all these so that you can switch gears when you want to, or does that get frustrating, or maybe both?
Well, yeah, a little bit of both,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's actually, that's a really great question because I never really thought of that. Yeah, because like I'm like obsessive I have like OCD about certain things, healthy things, but like design, organization. So yeah, for sure, it's like compartmentalizing them, but also like what works and what doesn't work. So I'm really into like what data is going, what's the audience, but also what captivates the audience and the customer, in retail partners and so on and so forth, and what works and what doesn't, and why. It's mainly like the why about it that is just intriguing to me, and like just different markets. And honestly, it's also just the people that are involved. It's like totally different. Like the whole like barber salon spa world. I don't know anything about that, but I'm about to find out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? About to meet other people in that world. And then they'll go, oh, well, I didn't know you did other things too. That's crazy. So it kind of also just kind of sheds light on all of it and kind of helps grow this ever shrinking, or to me, it feels like the world of what we do. Yeah. It just seems like it's like tightening. Yeah. And I'm trying to expand at the same time to kind of like, I don't know, just shed light. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Is there things that you, I mean, obviously you don't want to give away the farm here, but like, are there things you still want to work on, or like maybe we'll say categories you want to work on that you haven't explored yet? Because even with what you're just talking about, it seems like you're getting into like some accessories, some, these other things.
Like the Rita ring. I have this is a St. Rita Parlor jacket that I never released. Yeah, I did clothing for my lookbooks. Actually, I did a fashion, just showed at Fashion Week with Tima Weiland and a couple other people. I forget, it's been a long time, but I did like cut and sew. But like, I'm not gonna. It was more like a glorified like costume type of stuff, and I was very unbiased. Like I was like, I just designed it, I had no training in it. I was like, I'm gonna do it, and then I learned a lot about fashion because they're like, oh, that looks like Carol Christian Powell, and I'm like, I don't know who that is, but now like he's one of my favorite designers. So I'm like, well, he has a really good style because. He just does. Yeah. We have a similar aesthetic, but I wouldn't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, the reality is it's like all of that stuff is so deeply interconnected that like even if you're like not that interested in one, you can't help but kind of become over time because you just, it's hard to not like learn about this stuff and become, entrenched in it. I think it's difficult when we say like, when we're talking to people at the store about like different brands or whatever, and, some of it I know is extremely expensive and all this, but when I start talking about it, it's like, if you still don't connect after I've told you this stuff, and whether you can afford it or not is its own thing, but like if you don't connect with what that person's doing, then this just isn't for you. You know what I mean? But it seems so wild that like, how could you not be interested when you're learning that people are like putting their heart and soul into all these different avenues of things, whether it be rings, jackets, scent, whatever it is. I think that makes such a huge difference to the customer as well, because it's like buying art. It's not that feels different than just commerce.
And I think yeah, and I also love that term too, like the commerce, because like the commerce and trade is like how it all, like that's like literally it for me. I'm like I'm all just like about just like trading no matter what it is, wealth, like in the regards of like information, and just spending time with other creative stuff like that. That's like the real value in like that commerce and trade.
Well, I think there's an art to that on its own, and that people that I think it can be like, I totally understand why there's this like weirdness around. There's art, and then there's like, and like let's just use fashion because that's our world. So there's fashion, and those are kind of sort of, there's a Venn diagram, but they won't allow it fully into one or fully into the other. Or if it is, it's so unwearable or whatever. It's supposed to, that's what makes a difference. And I think that like the reason is usually because they'll say the commerce is what makes it kind of different. Like the fact that one is a business and one isn't. I mean, it is a business, but they won't acknowledge it.
Right. Exactly.
In my mind, the other one is like, there is an art to doing the business also, because you can do that a lot of different ways. Totally. And there's a lot of, and there's a lot of unexplored areas in it, or at least I think there is. So that's like, because I think, when we started this, we were talking about like, he and I grew up like on the forums and all this shit. And we're like, we can definitely keep doing this or find new ways to do this thing. I just don't know what it is yet. And like, that's a different way to approach it than something, I don't assume Skims is doing a lot with their community. They'll say they are, they'll use the words, there's a big budget for it. But are they actually engaging and creating new ways for people to truly communicate? No. Yeah, I mean, exactly. and that's because it's a different thing. But that's a different way to approach the business on the whole also. Yeah. So I think that there is, I wish that wasn't so like demonized in the way that it is. It's like, it can be and should be at times, but I think there's a lot of people doing like an interesting version of that, like yourself. I mean, doing everything almost entirely by yourself at your house, like keeping it that personal and that close to you is its own way of doing things. that I don't think many people are doing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, mixed media, I'd love to get back into that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now that I have like these, I have eyes on stuff that I'm doing. It's like I'd love to insert some art or mixed media stuff back into that kind of world because, all these brands, they kind of go hand in hand with like interior design or, stuff like that. You can leave them on your counter or, you know what I mean? It kind of goes hand in hand with a lot of different, like if you listen to good music, you wear good clothing, like which is just like architecture for the body, right? And you're conscious about each individual components and facets in your life, and so I think that you can draw a correlation to
100%.
that. So
I mean, it's no different than any art in the sense that like the goal is that it makes the world more beautiful, and that can start at your apartment, that can start in an art gallery, that can start wherever it needs to be.
Yeah.
I just think that like also training people to like have an eye for that kind of thing and care about it. And it's like I think it just gets turned into this whole like, well, it's all about buy. And it's like, first of all, we're selling stuff that's supposed to last a very long time. Hopefully you do just buy one and you have it,
Yeah, exactly. Well, with my bags, that's what I would say. Like I do these like leather bags. It's like you buy it, if it breaks, it's replaced.
Yeah.
My even if the customers are wrong, like I send it out. Like somebody's like, oh, this didn't come. I'm like, I'm sorry, here's more. Like so you have to, it's about that relationship. And it's also just about like what you said at the end of the day, like that, what you said about like, I want to inspire and I want to inspire just the next generation of creators.
Yeah.
Because like, why would somebody start something now? There is no Charles Eames anymore.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, who's the next Yves Saint Laurent or whatever? It's like, yes, we live in different times. There's different ways of, communicating and getting the word out there and stuff. But like, truly, like what a lot of these people stood for is just for the love of the art and to be like just good and wholesome.
Yeah.
And I just hope that carries on. And that's truthfully why I personally do it. So when you made that point, I was like, man, you couldn't be more spot on. Cause it's like, I look at my kids and I'm like, I want like people in different generations just to like, you just be inspired and like, and just naturally just curious about this and ask questions and fail and just use your mind to build things.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
You don't have to go to a school in Grasse in France to learn perfume. I mean, I would love to go check it out and go to a lavender field and all that kind of stuff. But it's like,
incredible.
I'm also wasn't trained in drums.
Yeah.
Which is why I never played to a click. You know what I mean?
I don't know how to play to a click. He's asked me like, oh, you know the rudiments, right? And I'm like, no fucking clue. I mean, if you make the sound, I can do that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know what I don't know what my brain is doing to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's just like inspiring like curiosity because I think that can feel overwhelming now when you think of like just how many, like there's so many brands now. And you can start a brand tomorrow. I can have a brand up and running by the end of the day if I want to.
I just asked ChatGPT right now.
Yeah,
I stole the funniest one, by the way, of Jacques-Marie Mage. That dude Jerome got whatever. Like somebody like there, I got like an ad or something. Don't know why, but it was like a direct ripoff.
Oh,
and it was like to a T of what it was. And I was like, oh my gosh, somebody just like plugged in ChatGPT and just like put it on. Here's the marketing budget. Put it on Instagram, and it might have even just been a spoof or something. But
it's a thing that's going to challenge creativity. But I don't. It's had plenty of challenges in the past and had no issue continuing on. So
I wonder how people are going to be able to sift through that. What do you guys think is like the answer, if there is an answer to like, how are people going to know what's genuine? Obviously, besides like meeting, like, doing what we're doing right now and like meeting and going to places and, meeting with the people and businesses and retail partners and designers and stuff. Like, other than that, like, what else can we really do? It's like, which I love doing. Yeah. But like,
man, I don't know. I mean, we're kind of like, I don't want to say that we're any sort of, I'm never anti-technology because I think there's always like cool shit to do with it and the right people will find cool shit to do with it. And there's plenty of things that you can do with like, AI, for example, that are like super useful. And it's just going to become a new way. I mean, everyone was scared of Google or, the internet when it first started. And then now it's like, well, it's just a tool that does other things. People will figure out how to innovate. People will suss it out easier. I don't worry about people all the time. They figure it out, especially the weirdos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's why like growing up hardcore I think was such a big part. Like we didn't have
something to be said about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you guys your favorite hardcore bands in a few. So
easy,
yeah.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, it's similar but I think that like what I like so much is that those scenes allowed for connection with other people that were different than you in a positive way. It was like, oh, we're all weirdos and freaks, especially in the Midwest, because we didn't even have a defined scene. It was sort of like, if you were kind of different, you got thrown into this thing.
I just want to see California.
Yeah,
100%, dude.
And I think that like at the end of the day, like that's what people will find a way to connect with other people, and like that's what the internet has done. That's been so great. That's what social media did. That was so great.
Utilizing the tools at our disposal, right? Exactly.
They'll figure out a way to like put the weirdos together. You know what I mean? And I think that the nice thing is the internet has allowed for even more weirdos to exist. You know what I mean? Because you don't feel alone.
Yeah, we wouldn't have we were able to connect because of like these exact mediums. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. There's going to be a bunch of negatives to it, like there always is. You know what I mean? But like I don't know. The right people figure it out. And I'm for some reason, I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm not worried about the youth too much. They seem more sure of themselves and self-confident.
I was going to say a lot kinder and more vulnerable and softer. Yeah.
But I don't like that it gets categorized as like soft. Like they're just emotionally intelligent and can utilize that. Yeah. That's not soft. That's fucking really, as a 36-year-old person struggling with that.
No, soft in a good way.
Yeah.
Soft in a good way.
They got that shit figured out.
It's because there are kids.
Yeah. So I'm really hopeful for them, because you talk to them and they're like, they don't give a shit about any, like, it's just the stuff that was like so concerning to older people now. They've moved on. They're already evolved past it. So they'll figure all this out. Yeah. And I also see so many of them like rejecting a lot of the technology and stuff for other things. So I ain't worried about them.
Yeah.
They figure it out. Yeah.
That's sick.
The right ones will, and the wrong ones won't. And that's, the world will go on as it always has, you know? Yeah. So I don't know what they'll ultimately do with. What's your favorite hardcore band?
Well, I have. Okay, so it's kind of hard to say like favorite hardcore band, but I can say like genres. I can say like 5, and they may not even be like hardcore, but like heavy shit. I'll do like albums. You guys
great,
cool with that?
Absolutely,
Top 5, okay, and maybe not even like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that order.
We won't hold you to it.
Poison the Well, Opposite of December.
Okay, I know. I was never a Poison the Well guy, but I know that these are sycophants. These are people. If you get hooked, you're hooked.
Opposite of December. Converge, Jane Doe.
There we go, baby.
Yep.
Unbroken Wings.
That's good.
I forget the name of the album, but
I'm not good with album titles.
Yeah, that one I actually should know.
Yeah.
Norma Jean, Bless the Martyr, Kissed a Child.
We talk about Norma Jean quite a bit on this podcast.
Sex chords, dude. Yeah. Like, can we get some? Yeah.
I was a big Chariot guy too.
Because it was him before.
Yep. It was a little more unhinged. The music. I don't know. I could tell you if I heard a song, I could tell you the overall sound, but I don't know what song we're on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, Blood Brothers, Daughters.
Okay.
Probably Daughters. What's up, Lex? What's up, Nick? How you doing,
Blood
buddy?
Brothers is one that like, it had this weird permeation of like, it's because the hardcore scene, especially at that time, started to involve all sorts of
fashion core, dude.
Yeah.
It's metrosexual, I think, was like birthed out of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have pictures of me in the internet. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. If you were a certain age and listening to the Blood Brothers heavy, there was questionable fashion choices at one point. But it doesn't mean that you weren't doing great in the scene. It just meant, it's just a lot of like weird T-shirts.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, you, what's up?
I'll do like top 3 right off the rip. It's this band Carry On from Southern California, A Life Less Plagued, super straight edge, 2001, fucking awesome. In a similar vein, I really love All American Nightmare. Similar era, similar time, similar friend groups. And then maybe a little more contemporary, I really love Trapped Under Ice, Secrets of the World. That was like me coming up, hitting high school, and like really getting the full scope of the hardcore world and shit. So
Better Lovers. Have you guys heard their stuff at all? It was the dude. It's like most of the guys from Every Time I Die minus Keith Buckley, the singer. And then you insert. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the vocalist from Dillinger Escape Plan. And then you have Better Lovers. It's
wild.
I'll check it out. Pretty sick. Anyways.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I knew he was going to do Carry On, so I won't do that.
That's my absolute favorite.
I want American Nightmare in there because that one's important to me.
Integrity. I'm from Cleveland, so Integrity is great.
I love Integrity.
Yeah.
And I always liked the metal leaning stuff, so I liked a lot of. I would say Cursed for me was a big one, and Left 4 Dead, bands like that. I liked anything that was kind of metal leaning hardcore, but that was big.
Exactly. I kind of threw some other ones, and it was like kind of generalized.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think that's that. But I also like all the classic shit, like especially like, Youth of Today and things like that. I like the real like straightforward hardcore too.
Yep.
So
do you know you guys listen to Baroness? I don't know.
But, yeah, really cool.
One of my friends that actually grew up with us in our neighborhood is the bass player Baroness now, which is pretty sick. So that's definitely got that metal roots in it.
You still playing?
I'll show you pictures in a little bit, but I actually just set up so I have a Orange County DW hybrid drum that I actually because I'm a psycho, I sanded it and I did like my own custom designs on it.
Sick.
I have like lighting, all that kind of stuff. Then I have a Moog right in front of me that I play, and then I have the trigger, and then I can loop a 72 Telecaster. So I've been just playing by myself lately, just because my kids.
You don't like to do stuff with other people.
I wish I could play in a band again, but but I just like got all the stuff out of my road cases. They sat in heavy dust for a long time, so I've been air drumming for years.
Yeah.
So when you sit back down, it's kind of like when you like go to skateboard again. You're like, oh man, I won't be able to hit a certain trick the first time, but after a couple, you're
it doesn't take long.
Yeah, it's like that muscle memory kicks in, and you're good.
I haven't had an acoustic set that I personally owned in forever because I was living in Chicago and I was always just in like small
You're
places.
A drummer as well.
Well, I play a little bit of everything, but drums was mostly what I would have played. And I did electronic for a little while during COVID because I was like, I really want to play again. I need a place to play, but we had a baby too, so I was like, I can't do.
Yeah, there's a time and place for an acoustic set.
So you pick it up quick. I mean, you get right back into it. You know what I mean? Like, because you need enough time where you're sitting there for like a while with them, and you can't go like rent a little space for 6 hours. But you need like a while, and then but once it clicks, it goes right. I'm right back in. But it just takes a minute, and now I'm back off of it for a little while, so I gotta do it again. But,
man.
Yeah, but it's the best. It's so fun. Yeah, and I like where you're coming from because I always played with bands and I love playing with bands, and there's something about playing with people that really changes everything. I mean,
just the writing process to me.
It really unlocks stuff when you like lock in with people, especially like it would be fun when you sat down with people that you didn't know super well and you still like, I'm like, I know them on a different level now, even though I don't know like where they're from or anything. And I love that feeling. But I always liked doing everything myself as well. I would always prefer that if we were recording anything, I'd be like, I'd rather just do it all because I know exactly what I want and I don't know how to explain it very well. So I get you. I get where you're coming from. I still think that's my preference if I'm making or writing music.
Same.
Do it all myself. How are we doing on time, buddy? Are we good?
Should
we do a customer service question with him?
We're like right at an hour right now.
Okay, let's do it. Do we have a CS question available?
Let me grab one.
So one of the things that we do on the podcast is basically people submit questions and then we just answer them. They're all over the place.
Awesome.
So this could be anywhere from something super weird or it'll be like very fashion specific.
I hope it's weird. Yeah.
Try to pick a weird one. He'll get it.
Pick the fourth one. I don't know.
The first time in Boulder then? Or no, you've been before?
Oh, you said you played shows here before.
Yeah,
I played a show.
I couldn't tell you the name of the venue. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Boulder Theater or Fox? I feel like is there more? Mm-hmm. Red Rocks kind of is close.
I did not play that.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I don't recall the name. No.
It's a weird place in that like most bands will skip this. Like
they St. Louis to you?
Yeah.
They're like, well, Kansas City, and then we'll go to Chicago. It's like...
You got a similar problem.
Whoa, dude. It's a flyover city. Like,
you can just go up and around, but never through.
So in Ohio, would Cleveland or Cincinnati be the preference? Probably do both.
I mean, I grew up in Cleveland. I think it was more Cleveland than any other Ohio city. The next one would be Columbus.
Oh, yeah, duh.
I'm not sure that people really... Like, Cincinnati probably had a scene. I'm not familiar with it.
Totally.
Cleveland, you got people coming...
east, so that helped with...
Yeah, and you got people coming from New York, Philly, coming west through Detroit, and then through the Midwest, or coming from the west down, following the Great Lakes through, Minnesota and shit like that. Cleveland definitely... I never felt like Cleveland was passed over. I feel like, every major tour went through Cleveland. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's right in Cleveland as well. Yep.
I've been to the Longaberger.
Buddy, now you're speaking my mom's language right now, and she's a big pod listener.
That basket, dude?
Yes, sir. She would go on the tour every week.
Like a year ago. I was like, oh.
I've got many Longabergers in my house. I'm set to inherit many of them.
Set to inherit some Longabergers.
I don't fuck around, and I've got the cute little ones that go on the door handle, have your keys and shit in. That's about as Midwest as we get, so I appreciate you for knowing that.
You know what we're talking
about. Well, my aunt took me and my cousin, who like a White Pony had just come out, so I was like, I need to get like the black and the red one. By the way, the new Deftones album, fucking awesome. So they like, oh, we're gonna go to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're like, oh, sick. But like on the way, this is how, like, I was like, oh, I understand what I understand what happened here.
I was so curious of how you were going to tie in Deftones to Lagenberg. I was going to land this plane.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Did you get one, Cole?
Yes, I do have one.
Is it a weird one?
It's a weird one.
Oh, I like it.
There you go.
Well, maybe not super weird. The question, this is from our Discord. It is, if you could remove one thing from existence, what would it be?
Okay. The thing is, like, I feel like I don't know the downstream effects to anything I would say.
Yeah, like, my gut says like bugs.
Yeah.
But
like
I know that's
Specifically mosquitoes.
Yeah,
we
mosquitoes
don't get them out here, really, right? Or maybe a little
not
more.
certainly not like
we don't have lightning bugs either.
Back in the Midwest, yeah.
Take a mosquito and sort of a lightning bug. Yeah.
Yeah, mosquitoes might be the most universally accepted answer.
I'd rather a mosquito was in the house than a spider, though.
Yeah,
I think we're just rating bugs now, which maybe is a separate.
But you got to think like killing spiders, having no spiders, certainly leaves us with a lot of other insects.
Yeah, it's like
general,
natural selection. It's like the
the
circle of life, the way it trickles down.
I don't know what'll happen.
But like mosquitoes aren't necessarily. I could be wrong, but I don't think mosquitoes are like germinating plants, so they're not like bees.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what mosquitoes do positively for us, so I think that is a pretty sound answer. I'd like to lock in mosquitoes, at least on my end.
Nice.
You're gonna lock in just mosquitoes?
I mean, dude, I really hate mosquitoes. Yeah, I'm very
never
pro
heard you even
bee and
speak
stuff.
about mosquito.
We don't have them out here, but you go back home or you go somewhere where they are, and it ruins
like
the
St.
day.
Louis, dude. Like even after it freezes, I'm like, how the they say cockroaches will survive like the Earth ending. I think mosquitoes will survive. I think it's like cockroaches and mosquitoes are like what's going to end up being. They're all left on Earth,
Yeah. Ugh.
And they they have the West Nile and all that. So
yeah, they're yanking stuff around.
But I mean, if it's not bugs, there's many other things.
What do you got? What do you mean? You got stuff on?
I'll get
struggling
there.
for some reason. What are things I don't care for?
I mean,
this is not necessarily as
Cole,
succinct.
You got one?
I got one. Very niche and specific. In Boulder, we have it's very expensive, right, to rent here as a business. Mm-hmm. I hate when they make it so expensive for rent that all that can go there is banks. I don't want banks anymore.
You're just tired of banks being in the place you live.
Could we get rid of physical banks, do you think, and it wouldn't be really a problem anymore?
I mean, I don't think I've been to a bank in a lot. I don't. You deposit checks on phone.
I have a debit card that expired before I even activated it.
Yeah. So,
you know what? That's my answer. I'm actually going to go deeper. I want to get rid of just debit cards, just having to go in just debit cards.
You know what? Debit cards are stupid.
Plastic.
I'm with
dumb.
you.
Yeah. Tap to pay on your phone. I
feel stupid using a debit card sometimes.
Yeah. When I found out what Apple Pay actually works, when I found out about it, that was sick. And now I only use it.
I made a specific choice in my head at one point. As soon as I had it all situated on my phone, and then I knew that if the phone died, you could still use a card if you need to. The second I realized that, I was like, I don't need a wallet anymore.
Wait, what did you say if the phone died?
If your phone dies, you can still use a card if you need to.
No.
Yeah. They leaves enough juice that I'm sure there's an amount of dead that it'll stop working.
Yeah.
But
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
See, and then I've just decided now, if I go into a place and they don't take it, well, I don't shop at that place. I just leave. I just turn around and walk out.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
Yeah, you can refuse.
Oh, you don't want my phone money.
Yeah, if you don't want phone money, then I'm out of here.
You don't like the
all
future?
I've got is phone money.
See ya, the future doesn't like you either.
I think this is a good one. I think debit cards is rock solid.
Yeah.
Thanks for the direction, though. I like that.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time. Is that or like just because I'm a dad now? I'm like, I've become that person. I'm like, slow the fuck down, dude. Speed limit is not a suggested speed, bro.
Yeah.
And I have fast cars. There's just a time and place to be ripping and dipping.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? I got to be honest with you, and you're not going to like this. I don't want to ruin our new friendship. I was thinking about just saying, what if we just got rid of cars? It seems like it would solve problems. They aren't mandatory. I mean,
if we had a better train system, I would say yes.
Yeah, infrastructure is not
I
ideal.
don't need a car.
There needs to be infrastructure.
In America, cars are necessary, but Japan.
Oh, yeah.
I feel less connected. So when I moved here, I wasn't like an outdoor kid that much. We played in the backyard, but it doesn't feel like being like outdoors. Yeah. That's a different thing. And then you move here and people are asking have you been hiking? I'm like, I've never thought about it. There was woods that was connected to cornfields, but I wasn't sure how to access them.
Yeah.
So we just, we did stuff outdoors, but it doesn't feel like outdoorsy. So when I moved here, you try to get into some new stuff, and I've been more into the outside and everything, but I've never considered myself outdoorsy. But when I lived in Chicago, I was outside more than anyone I knew. Anyone who was outdoorsy here, I was outdoors more often in Chicago than they were here.
Yeah.
So I felt very connected to it in a different way. Plus, you kind of learn where things are in a different way. You can take your time. It made you kind of leave way earlier. I like that a lot, and I think that if there wasn't cars, that would be you'd talk to people a little bit more too, maybe even if you're on bikes or if you're walking. I think it could be good.
I could get with that for sure.
I understand that like there's cool cars and you'd lose cool cars.
Yeah.
That's a loss. But the environment would be better, right? When COVID happened,
Totally.
they said the environment was better.
Yeah.
So maybe
From
that was
from
good.
an environmental standpoint, for sure.
It'd be cool to
I
just
think-
walk in the street.
yeah.
Imagine if I just walked home on the street.
Well, I
I
was
don't know
thinking
why
if-
I just think it's because I can't do it. But
If you could whip your bike without cars, I would ride my bike from where I live. I would just leave an hour early and just haul ass on
you
an
have to worry
open
about
street.
getting hit and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, so you like a road bike, you mountain bike. I guess we're in Boulder, so
I'm
hybrid
working
action?
on buying a bike right now.
Yeah. Well,
This-
Chicago, I had a fixed gear, no brakes, suicide
Yeah,
bars.
I
Like,
had
insane.
this. Yep, and I got
Speaking my
bumped 2
language.
times by a car and thought I don't want to do that anymore.
I was
'Cause
riding.
I didn't put helmets. I don't wear helmets.
Yeah,
I didn't even know where to buy a helmet.
Yeah. It was a dumb idea.
Yeah.
I was riding fixed. Me and my buddies rode from when I graduated high school. Rode from my hometown to the west side of Cleveland, 85, 90 miles in a day. I did it on a fixed gear with a front brake and a pair of soccer shorts, a t-shirt, and a North Face backpack, which I make fun on the podcast of everybody who wears costumes and shit to ride their bikes around here and the tight little outfits and shit. It's like I did it. I did it in
Lances?
what?
The Lances?
Yeah.
Like the kits?
No, like Lance.
arms, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Lances.
yeah,
I
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Exactly. And all I'm saying is I did it at 18 in a pair of soccer shorts and a backpack in a fixed gear.
Yeah.
But the next day we were riding around and I got hit by an old woman in a Mustang.
Get doored? Or did she just hit you?
We had like a group of us and she tried to shoot the gap, but then instead of continuing, she just stopped. So I either went like over her hood or like right into her passenger side door, which is what I did. Kind of slow mode, looked at her going through over the window. I was all good, no problem. But cars are a hazard. Like riding a bike is undoubtedly dangerous, regardless.
I was in Florida recently, and they're
Hell
very
yeah.
into the golf cart situation.
I was actually in Florida as well this year.
Did you? Yeah, I'm not proud of being in Florida, but I do like that situation they've got going with the golf carts.
Yeah.
Yo.
I think it's because they all have DUIs, but I like that they're starting. There was clearly like a hierarchy of them and stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
That
I'm
one's got
interested
6
in this.
seats, seatbelts. It's
Yeah,
got
it's
the
cool.
loudspeaker and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like my brother got into that, like about that, like, and I'm like a golf cart. I don't know how you guys feel about golf. We're going in a whole other, taking in a whole other direction. But like, I took up golf during the pandemic. I
Yes,
don't look
sir.
like,
Yeah,
I don't look like a golfer. I'm designing a putter right now.
No way.
I swear to you,
Like a
dude.
blade putter, or what do you got?
Like you know lab golf. It's something like a mallet style putter.
Sure,
but
sure.
I'm doing the whole thing, dude. Like
Beautiful.
wooden handle, like dude, like
Sick.
like the Mr. Miyagi of putters, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Anyways, but I got into golf. But like that's like the golf carts. I'm like, man, every time I'm in a golf cart, I'm like, yo, they can do better than this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have an
It could
enclosed
look
trailer.
cooler.
Maybe I can just like put a golf cart in the back and go to the course and just like next level. I don't know.
Why isn't there a car company that has just decided like, hey, what people really want is stuff that looks old but has new stuff?
Oh yeah,
Why
we
aren't they
talked
doing
about this.
The cabs in Japan, dude.
Well, I know.
I'm trying to buy a K-truck. K-truck?
Oh yeah.
K-truck, yeah.
Yeah, that is on the schedule for 2026. Absolutely, and that'll going to
And I
go.
cannot wait to come back for that. That's
Buddy, we're going
We
to
want
ride.
to get like Canoe Club wrapped ones and use
Yeah.
them to move inventory around.
I
Yeah.
almost brought my clubs and I was here for less than 24 hours.
Oh, shit.
Had you and I
Should've linked
talked
up-
before.
Oh, we got a guy that if you ever come back, we got the guy that we are close with a friend who's
Cooper,
very
yeah, I might
deeply
golf with
into
him
this.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Next time you come out, you want to play? We can certainly play.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
What kind of clubs you got?
I have
you
a
that
set of
deep?
TaylorMades from Cooper. I inherited his, bought him from him.
Coop.
Coop, shout out Coop. We love Cooper dearly. He might be here tonight. No,
maybe. I don't know.
No, I don't know. Maybe
don't know
he'll
where
come
he's
tonight.
at.
Yeah, no, he's around. He's around. But I
Let's
shot my
litigate
best
this
round
more.
this year. I shot an 88. My first round out this.
Fuck yeah,
this
dude.
year.
I took it up 3 years ago. I was like a very big ice hockey player.
Yeah, right on.
Like,
Yeah.
Sweet.
like so it kind of translated for me. I shot my best round actually a couple, like a month or so ago, 78.
Let's go, bro.
Wow.
Golf is so fucking
Since
hard.
I said that, I'm gonna be shooting fucking like
Garbage
upper
now.
90s
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean?
78 is awesome though, dude. That's really solid.
I literally I told my wife 2 years ago. She's like, so like, what are the plans for the future? And I was like, for real? Like, I think I want to like try to be a pro golfer. And she was like, you're fucking insane. And it is actually insane. But like, anyways, I enjoy playing it.
It
I
would
got
make me
some
want to
Euro
do it
irons.
so much more. If he was like, no, I don't know if you can do it. I'm like, all right, well now
No,
it's
yeah.
a different thing now. Now it's a spike
Since
thing.
she supported it, you know, it's like...
Yeah, now you can let it off, let the foot off the
I'm
gas.
like, okay, whatever, that's fine. And I'll just never do anything. But she was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Golf rules, dude. You're outside all day. You get to be with buddies.
Yeah, it was like the COVID thing. I was like, all right, what can I do outside that's like in Missouri that like... Yeah, so I was like, all right, I'll fucking...
There's only so many things to do.
Yeah. And I wanted to shake up the world. I'm out there, and people are like, "What the fuck is?" I wear the big like Australian hat, and up until I have the barbershop now. And 6 months ago, I had like a mullet like past my shoulders, and so I'm out there just like, was it Cameron? Is it Cameron Smith that has the dirt tag?
Yeah.
Yo, like with the mullet,
You contain
like,
multitudes.
love it. Anyways, but yeah, the golf cart situation is actually prominent everywhere now, and I'm wondering the same thing. It's like. They have to apply by the same rules as street cars, like like cars on the street. But I'm like, I guess people are just like whatever. I guess they're just like a little more cautious because they can like
listen.
Yeah,
they got to accept this. We're not going to stop texting and driving. Okay, it's just no one's going to stop doing it. So why don't we just slow down the cars a little bit to form around our bad habits?
Yeah. You're not gonna like where this is going because I have a car that like drove us to Florida. Not a big Musk fan, but like whatever. Musk in the sense of like
it's good when you're smelling it.
A really nice Musk for Rita's car. It's one of the best out there. Patchouli, so good. But the
ugly man, that's a different thing.
The ugly idiot man child. I debadged it and everything, and I was like, "Wow, he's the one that sucks. Why am I going to change?" You know what I mean? Like, I'll just debadge it. He bought somebody else's idea. Nikola Tesla's rolling over in his grave. It's all good. This is in solidarity with Nikola. So, but the car, and I was like, "Wow, that's actually good." The only thing that can make this better, and having kids, you'll understand as well too. It's like it needs a, as we say, potty in it. It needs a restroom. It needs a lavatory in the seat. Anybody that's a car designer out there, that's like next level. It drives you there.
Yeah.
And like we have the little travel one, and we go to like gas stations and stuff, dude. Like we have the little travel one, and like my daughter will go in the car. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go in the car too. I want to go in the gas station.
Yeah.
Gross, one. Yeah. Two, I don't not gonna eat anything in there. Yeah. And then also I'm gonna avoid the inevitable, can I buy like the next business is going to be stuffed animals or like rainbow shit.
Yeah. I've bought a lot of strange things in gas stations. Actually, our daughter's favorite like stuffed animal, the only one that like really lasted was one from a gas station. So
truth. Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. I agree. Bathroom in car is rock solid idea. Plus, the ones that you're talking about, like the kids, you just throw them off. I feel like Dave Matthews in Chicago.
Yeah, off the bridge.
Them outside. This is a weird place to end the podcast, but thank you so much. Yeah. This has been really fun to get to know you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
You're an infinitely interesting guy, so I'd love to have you back at some point. I know you don't normally promote, but where can people? What are all the brands because we carry some, but not everyone, because obviously you've got golf clubs and stuff.
Yeah. For the apothecary stuff here, St. Rita Parlor, stRitaParlor.com, Museum Apotheker, museumapotheker.com. Centennial is Centennial House, HAUS.com. Preservation West, as it sounds.com.
Hell yeah. That's a number of things.
Love it. Yeah, let's go.
This has been a pleasure, dude.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you.